Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cousin Sarah Productions. Sarah Says. It's our very first broadcast. We thank you so much for being here, for liking us and sharing us and tagging us and all the other things you've done. The response has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you all so much. We're going to be here every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, bringing you a message of inspiration and hope. And today we are actually snowed in here in Kennesaw, Georgia. And you know, we people in Georgia don't handle snow very well. And this is the second time in just a few weeks. So we are really, really excited about doing this for you today. And thank you again for being here. Today's message is broken, and we're going to give you a few minutes for other people to sign in and join with us. These are going to be short messages meant for anyone who just needs a moment of inspiration in their lives. So we're looking for people to join in. Today's message is called Broken, and it all came about because of a gift that I was given when I graduated from seminary. It looked something like this, and this is called a chalice and a paten. And it's a cup and a plate, basically, the kind that's used for communion. A friend of mine gave it to me, and I always loved it. It was very beautiful. And when I moved from California to Georgia, I brought it with me. And I brought it with me, packed it up real well, shipped it here to Georgia. I've moved 3 or 4 times since I've been to Georgia, and it weathered all of those moves very well. And finally, it found a home. It found a place on a bookcase in my daughter's house. Now, you have to understand, my daughter and her family, this is a growing family with 3 children and a dog, and there were indoor basketball games and all kinds of things going on, but it sat on that bookcase safe and sound until about a month ago. And we heard this crash downstairs, and we knew something had broken, but I didn't know what. And my grandson came to me and said, "Grandma, I broke your cup." And, you know, accidents happen. But as I looked at the broken pieces and I looked at this precious gift that I had, I thought that it kind of mirrored what life does to us. Life keeps us safe and sound and in one piece for a long time, sitting on a shelf going about our business. And then, all of a sudden, something happens. And at some point in our lives, all of us are broken. Sometimes we're broken financially, just not enough money for the month. And that can go on for a long time or come on suddenly. Some of us are broken health-wise, where you think you're doing okay, and then you get an illness comes on, or you have a chronic illness that's been with you for years. Many of us are broken emotionally. That is, we're bad childhood, bad relationships, maybe difficulty with a relationship you're in now with your children, with your parents, with your spouse, with your partner. Some of us are broken spiritually, where you've just never been able to make that connection with God the way you want to, where you don't really feel that you're a part of that whole God loves me and will take care of me thing. But I've found that brokenness is what binds us together. It's where we find common ground. It is that thing that happens to all of us. I had a dear friend who was a drug addict and an alcoholic, and she told me that my addiction makes me equal. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I can sit in a room with some of the most famous people in the world, some of the richest people in the world, and in that same room with me can be a crack addict from the alley and a wino from the Skid Row, and we are all the same because we all have the same problem. They were all broken in the same place. The crack addict might get their drugs from their dealer, and the rich person gets theirs in a prescription from their doctor. And the wino drinks out of a bottle, and the rich person, who's also an alcoholic, drinks out of a crystal glass. It doesn't matter. They are all the same in their brokenness, and that is what binds them together. That is what helps them lean on each other, and that is what helps them reach out to God for healing. Sheryl Sandberg is the chief operating officer of Facebook. She is worth, I read the other day, $1.6 billion. And I think that if I met her and we sat in a room together, our conversation would not be about how much she made or what her job is, but our conversation would be about the fact that we both suddenly and tragically lost our husbands. It is our brokenness that binds us together. So I looked at my cup, and it was broken. The bottom part wasn't on it anymore, like it is in the picture. But I looked at it, and it doesn't have a hole in the bottom, so it could still hold the wine. And the plate, I think it's chipped somewhere, but it still can hold the bread. So even though this is broken, it's still beautiful. And it still has purpose, and it still has a use and a function. And it's the same with you. Even if you're broken, you're still useful. And maybe it just means you have to repurpose your life. So even in its brokenness, I still treasure this gift that my friend gave me when I graduated. And even in your brokenness, God still loves you. And He has a purpose for you, a path for you, and the resources for you to be useful. Dr. Martin Luther King said, if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. So no matter how much you're broken, keep moving forward. For you have use and purpose and value. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. We invite you to follow us and share this message of brokenness and healing and value with others. This video will be available on our site, and we will be here every Wednesday night at 7. I thank everyone who's watching, Lillian and Kirsten, and I thank them for joining me live. We're so happy to be here. So I'll say goodbye for this week. Be back next week with another message. And remember, Sara says, even if you are broken, You are useful and you are beautiful and God loves you. Peace and blessings.